What's up, everybody? This is a very special episode of my podcast. I call it Enlightened Masculinity. I may change the name. I'm not liking it right now, but we'll see. I'm Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of 9 Yoga, guardian and captain of IMC Nation, guardian here at Base One, where I live with the founder, AZD, in Cable, California. So this is a very special episode because I have three of the staff members, the IMC staff, that make things work behind the scenes. We have Zay, who runs imcbase1.com and also imcbase3.com. We have four bases right now. Fifth one actually these guys are moving into. So I don't know who's going to make the cut. Really, there's an overflow. So I might even talk to Brian and see if he'll buy two houses and have two bases in Phoenix. So we have Zay, we got the Prophet, aka Miracle J. He's been around IMC Nation for a long time. People have seen his name, heard him speak, and he's world known for public speaking in his mastery of the mind. And he does work with us. And of course, Josiah. And some people know him as Josiah, some people know him as IMC Cygnus. And I know him because I'm always in communication with all of these guys and beyond, all of IMC Nation. And he's one of those guys, he's made the pilgrimage from Hawaii, which is a long trip, expensive trip to come from Hawaii to the mainland. He's done it twice, and he'll be doing it this third time, more permanent, moving to Phoenix and joining that base operation, that base effort there, the unstoppable machine that's happening there. So three of these guys are on right now. And of course, there's other people in attendance. They're all IMC monks. Tony K is present. He posts all these podcast episodes. Right now, we're currently streaming to the IMC Base One YouTube channel. And, so this is a epic, really, because as guys speak more about their experience, I think it becomes more real for them. They understand it more. Other people get them more because they're just unknown. Like Will Rios is here doing his Base 2 leader training. And he was like, who's Josiah? This and that. And he was asking about it. And he was like, I didn't know Zay was an apprentice. Like, oh, okay, this, that. It's staff, really. I don't know how much I'm really apprenticing the guys. Like I don't think you're learning to do what I did. In some cases, there's some overlap, like, making graphics, but these are just the basics of entrepreneurship and business in the modern age. And being able to do it as part of an integrated effort, like a team, and, creating. A lot of guys are out there trying, if they even have that level of ambition where they're trying to create, they're creating as lone wolves. And maybe they try to create once or twice with groups, but they didn't know how to be part of a group and follow a leader of a group or be a leader of a group. And so they just disintegrate, and they maybe try again and just disintegrates. And they wonder why they fail over and over. And here we are, grown ass men, alpha men, making it in life and, grouping our effort together to make this thing happen when it's already happening. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear about your experience of it. I want to hear about your what you've had to change in yourself to make it work, because there's like 40 apprentices that it didn't work for. So there's 8 or 9 now that it's been working for. And then also, how that's played a role in your studies with IMC Nation, and what's been any changes that have happened as of late, as of recently, with your IMC stuff. Like just checking in on that level. So often we meet about our staff meetings and what jobs need to be done. And, so getting that flow in the other direction, I think is really useful. And that's what I'm interested in. And I think everybody else is also. So I don't know why Zay's screen is like real big on my computer right now. Does anybody else see Zay like he's the main screen? Because I'm supposed to be the main screen. It's supposed to be the speaker view. I'm speaking, but why does it not show me as the main? Doesn't matter. All right. So since Zay is real big on my screen, I'll hand it over to him. Brother, what's it been like being in Atlanta and being the web designer for IMC Base 1 and Base 3 and, studying this AZD information over the last 6 to 12 months?
Well, first of all, thank you, Chris, for having me on your podcast, Enlightened Masculinity. My name is Zay, and I'm over here based up in Atlanta. And I misremember the first time just talking to you, it was 2019. And, you just asked me, I remember the first thing you asked me actually was like, you said, it was on my Studio Cinema page actually. and you said, well, you have this caveat energy. And at that time, 2019, that was really going on. And then we kept going with conversation.
You have that what energy?
You said caveat.
Got you.
Yeah. And so, but we kept going on conversations. And I remember just trying to really convey to you what I actually could do for you, in a sense of or what I actually do. And but when talking to you, it gave me a lot of clarity, like what kind of service I need to actually give to actual people. Because as a web developer, I can learn how to, I just need a text editor that I can just hard code it, But then I saw how your website was built and how the fact that I can actually, what I could do in the sense of, editing and, bringing more value into it and sharpening my services. And, so it's been really a great journey from actually starting from ninth limb, then being more integrated into IMC Nation. Remember, it was back in 2020 when I got into the daily programming, coaching programming. And I just said, hey, I apprenticed under for Yogi Chris as a web developer, and I saw how the fact that gave me a little bit of a one up, just the fact that, I was working with the IMC brother already. So when you brought to me the idea of actually working on IMC Base 1, I was just like really excited. And just the fact that being part of working on a website of IMC Nation, because HD has a website already, but doing IMC Base 1, it was really, I saw the fact that where I had to sharpen my skills, in the sense of really communicating with you back and forth and really trying to take the website to a level where people can experience it at a high level, in a way they don't want to just leave the website as soon as they get in. And I saw the fact is that, going back and forth with you, I was just learning, how the customer thinks or how the businessman thinks about sales and stuff. But I had no idea about sales. You give me a design and I'm just like, okay, I'm just code this design for you. But actually design it to actually sell, I actually design it to actually be congruent in the sense that people wouldn't actually love the website that's actually going on. It was really a great opportunity for me. And of course, we've gone through so many different designs, like 6 designs. We've, redesigned a website a whole bunch of times. But I started to understand the fact is that how to keep being sharp, or how to actually grow a brand basically through just being a web developer, and the fact that, of course, it's a blessing being an apprentice under you, of course, because you take IMC very, very seriously in building it. So, really working and apprenticing under you, we actually focus on growing the brand and website aspect of it, rather than just, one-shot deal of actually creating the website. So, but in that is opened up so many opportunities, just like you mentioned before, being with Base 3, they hit me up, because they know that I'm showing up every week as an apprentice under you. So they just trusted me, the fact that, okay, since Joey Chris is so sharp and he has his apprentice, maybe he can also help us with our Base 3 website as well. And there's been many other people who wanted websites services. So, I'm just forever indebted to IMC Nation. And I love being an apprentice, what I'm saying? I don't care what kind of, I know I'm gonna make a lot of money in the future, but the fact is I get to be a staff member and actually create, continue to create and learn how to actually be a part of this movement that is a big movement in the world. And my position, I'm just forever grateful for that.
Yeah, man. Wow, that was great. That was great to hear, I don't know if it's what we're talking about or if it's just your evolution, because I think I've had you on the show before and you're communicating way better. Maybe it's just better time of day. I don't know. It's or maybe it's just, like I said, there's so many of these variables put together. So it was really nice to hear. And I saw you talking to a big future audience, guys that are upcoming in IMC, they'll be looking to you as you looked up to me, and you'll be that guy, and you communicate well, and you have this enthusiasm, you have some unique wording that's just like, when you keep saying the design and how you talk about design and brand growth and, taking it very, very seriously, you have Yeah, you have a magic, you have a special ingredient to your personality that and your communication that comes through. I don't know how to pinpoint it more than that right now, but yeah, it's been great having you on the staff. And you're looking to make a move also and legitimately get based up with some other guys in IMC Nation in another big city. And that's just going to be such an explosion of evolution for you. And I want to come back to you about your evolution with IMC, because that was really good as far as like working on the staff and getting opportunities and really having abundance with opportunities to practice your craft. So yeah, it sounds great. So I want to make it more real for the people, because there are people on the YouTube channel watching right now, and I know they'll watch afterwards. They don't want to come to the Zoom. They're hesitant or whatever. So, we'll get to talk with you again. And guys on YouTube, if you're not coming to the Zoom, Square Bears, then you should probably at least type in a comment and, let us know what you think. So let's go over to Josiah. We've had Josiah here on the show before a few times. Glover puts the lights on his hands. It goes to festivals and entrances people. And, he's also an avid yoga practitioner, and he's there in Hawaii. He was, training with Jason Bayat, who was also there in Hawaii. He also made a move to Phoenix. So Josiah will be moving to Phoenix. And, jack of all trades, what you've been doing with the YouTube, I think is an invaluable skill with making the flyers, with doing captioning, with the description writing, and soon to be, you'll get the tagging. And when you get the tagging down with vidIQ, then you're like a complete YouTube package. Now you can sell your services as, I can do your YouTube for you. I can make a thumbnail and descriptions and tag it and title it, and you don't have to do anything except record the video. At that point, you might record videos about doing it. You probably get a lot of views about like how to do it. So, and then also, going off and kind of morphing your skills into general graphic designer, and been making a lot of graphic designs for different people in IMC Nation, much like how Zay does with web design, but he's doing it on website design. You're doing it in this graphic design area. And, so I'm very interested in how that's been playing out for you, and, any shifts that you've had to go through as far as, your discipline, your sales, your growth, your mindset, your communication skills, anything like that in growing this graphic design endeavor.
All right. Thank you for having me here, Yogi Chris.
Yeah, of course.
Really appreciate it. So in the beginning, before I even became an apprentice, or even before I even started doing graphic design, I was gloving. I was going to festivals and whatnot. But then I ended up putting down the gloves for a good while. And it's because of this realization that I had. And it was the realization of how gloving doesn't really benefit like anybody outside from like raves and activities. So fast forward to the point where you asked me to become an apprentice, and from that day I always saw it as an opportunity. It was an opportunity not just to bring some value towards IMC Nation, but also an opportunity to like discover my skills, because like if gloving only benefits people who are on drugs and stuff like that, like none of us are like that over here. We have ethics, we have our goals, we're all focused. So I put that on the side. Now, in the beginning, I was first doing it on top of my phone, but there came a point where like I kind of want to expand like that, because like I know certain programs like Adobe Photoshop, for example, that you can do so much more compared to just a phone. So then I started looking for certain programs to use, and I came across GIMP. So then I learned how to use it. We would communicate back and forth, and I basically started off with thumbnails. Now, the thing that I realized is not just with graphic design, but also being an apprentice under IMC Nation, is like this alone, just being an apprentice alone under you is a mastermind. Like it's a group dedicated towards a specific purpose, and these are the kind of things that people don't really see. Like how you mentioned earlier, there are people who try to maybe do it themselves and they'll end up dropping out, or disintegrating. And that's because you don't really have like a team, or you don't really have like a mastermind group, you know? And I think it's fucking awesome that Zay does web design, Rudy does some of the things that I do. I do graphic design, Miracle J does his own, you know, like all these little nuances and technicalities just come into one, which gets presented basically to the world. And my evolution in all this is, thanks TK. And my evolution in all this is basically sharpening up my skills with graphic design. I started to extend towards flyers. I'm now starting to extend towards logos. And graphic design is just like a general term for like things for like the digital internet or whatnot, or things for print. Like there's so many branches that it can go, so many directions that graphic design can go in. And it just, this whole process of doing it and being an apprentice gave me like this expansion of like the possibilities. And that's something I always look for, is the possibilities. And now that I made the decision to move to Phoenix, which I feel like is the very next step, not just for me being closer to IMC Nation, but towards my evolution overall. It all interconnects. It all builds upon itself. You know, like basically building blocks and stuff like that.
For sure, man. That's a huge thing. That's like a next level. I see it like a pyramid, and it's like the next level. So fewer people make it, but that's what it takes to get to the top. And you know, you'll look back and you'll see how wussy and sissy everybody is who's not doing that, who's not making the move and not getting into a base. And you'll be like, man, I know what it takes to get through. You probably didn't have to go through as much as me. And you know, and you're missing out. Like after the first day, the first week, the first month, the first year, it's just going to be like, man, I don't know what I was doing not being in a base. And, you know, a lot of opportunities, you become more known, you become a guardian of that base. And it won't be like Will Rios being like, who's Josiah? No, I know Josiah. Josiah is a big player here. You know, it's ridiculous not to know Josiah. So I'm gonna come back to you because I have a question. I'm writing down questions. If you see me writing stuff down, so
Sure.
And anybody that has the three guys that are the guests, if you ever have something to jump in on, you can just unmute and jump in. Like it doesn't have to be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the prophet, you know, man, few people could have started lower than him when he got started, and few people, therefore, will ever be able to grow more than him in this. And he's come to a place where he's known on the world stage as a public speaker. And that's the beginning. He's not even in a base. When he gets into a base, which he's about to be, well, I just want to talk to him about that and, you know, what's on tap, you know, the evolution as, you know, being someone who I call upon to do certain tasks, particularly because of your clout or your reputation. I call on you to do tasks that involve communicating directly with high-level IMC guys because they'll take you seriously. And, you know, so we don't often talk about, you know, what it's like working with me on all the IMC projects. You're coming here in person this month. You're going to do another private moment. Like you're one of those guys that's so making it happen that it's just like ridiculous that people with 2 arms, 2 legs and fucking never got run over by a car, they can't make it happen. Are you kidding me? It's just ridiculous. Never mind like the recovery, the physical recovery from that. It's just like, what are you able to do right now? And you're making it, and your development is so real and such a testimony in itself. You're like a walking testimony, talking testimony. Like you can talk about whatever you want to right now. I don't even know what I would tell you to talk about. You know, if you want to talk about the evolution of moving, what it's taken to move to Phoenix or wherever you end up, the basing, the evolution of handling suppressive people in your life, family, environment, work, what it's taken to get the right jobs for you that make it so that you can move, that you can provide for yourself and provide for your training with IMC Nation, anything like that. or any like recent like realizations or evolutions you've been going through in your own personal process or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure, man. I got a lot I can grab on and talk about. I think the most exciting thing right now that's happening is basing up. You know, I've been involved in this whole process since the beginning, really. And each camp I attend, every day, man, I'm evolving, having newer realizations, taking my own process to the next level. And, you know, tying everything into the being a apprentice under shit, you are someone I consider the top dog at IMC, next level to A, next level to AZD. And that has strengthened my communications because of the positions that you put me in. When we were doing the podcast and you had me communicating with these guys in IMC, of course it helped being my status of who I was, but it still was challenging because not everyone communicates at the same level. So I saw I became almost like a chameleon. I was able to adapt my communication to each individual, make sure things happen on time. And I was already a public speaker. And I'm noticing the more I communicate, the more I stream, the more I grow. So the apprenticing has helped me a lot. You've even helped me develop some other skills I didn't know I had just because of the task that you gave me. And I'm not one to back down, obviously, at all from any type of challenge. That shit feeds my beast, I like to say. But this move to Phoenix, man, was another level up. This came up last year. I was gonna move to Phoenix. It ended up not happening as soon as I thought. You even told me that. I was like, yeah, man, I'm moving to Arizona. Shit is, we should be moving by this day. And you were like, it's not gonna be that easy. Like you think it's done. Is something always comes up, which it did. But now, man, I'm handling everything like head on. I talk with everyone. I talk with my grandmother. I let her know I'm leaving. It just is what it is. It's a part of my evolution. I sat down with my dad. Dad, I'm leaving. Once everything's ready, I'm gone. I'm hitting the road and I'm gone. So communication has always been a big part of my evolution, and it continues to strengthen as I'm a part of IMC. The private moments are, I can't even put that experience into words, what it does to me. Last time I did it, the first time I did it, and now doing this next one, I can't even imagine the next level up is gonna be. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my evolution. We're back into the phase one routine. It's circled back, but from a new level of consciousness. So I'm able to beast out and get my physical body and tap in on another level now. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Right on. What is this new level of beasting, or what's different about this time around?
I feel like the place it came from the first time around was, it was less control. It was more of me like using it as I don't want to say a coping mechanism, but just a way to get through the pain. Like I use it to get through pains that I was handling in my life. But now I don't see it as like that crutch anymore. Yeah, I can still use it for that, but since we've gone through the surrender experiment, Michael Singer Tech, we have TM, I have a heightened sense of awareness of how to use my beasting process and tapping in. So it's not coming from a place where it has to come from pain. It's coming from a place where I know myself more in a higher place of consciousness. Would be how I would explain
it. Damn, dude, you're gonna be like a spiritual leader. You TED Talk consciousness. for sure. Yeah, that's great. Y'all's development and seeing you come together in a base somehow, your development is going to be out of this world. Just out of this world, your ability to communicate, your ability to articulate in the subtlest, most uncomplex ways, and creating an effect on the listener, your ability to make your schedule and really calibrate your schedule towards personal growth much more, instead of appeasing all the people around you, so you don't have too many problems in your life that demand even more time. And it's big moves, telling dad, hey, I'm leaving, grandma, hey, I'm leaving. And that conversation and bringing order to that is, that's quite an evolution to go through linguistically and with understanding of psychology and values and things like that, and your own reasoning and making it make sense to other people. And it's only the beginning of the next level. It's the end of this level, but it's the beginning of the next level. So you're present.
Last thing I want to say about that, I'm talking to all my people about leaving. I thought it would be the words that I would tell them, that I would have to figure the right words. And I think TM helped tremendously with this. It wasn't necessarily the words that I was telling them, because they didn't combat it at all. I think it was the place that I was coming from and my expectations and convictions when I talked to them, because I received zero resistance from my grandmother, my mother, my dad, anyone I spoke with, zero resistance. And it shocked the shit out of me.
Wow. And that's a big impact, because they're worried about you. And this whole situation, this is your first time, I think, moving away from Houston, right?
Yeah.
And as a person who has recovered from traumatic brain injury to just astounding levels, and the future that's ahead of you, man, that is such an inspiring story. I don't have the words to describe it, but you're gonna be quite a character in the book, in the movie. And you're quite a character in life right now, and I'm really proud to be part of the movement that you're a part of, and witnessing your growth strengthens me. And I'm sure you hear that a lot. It's kind of basic probably to you. So he's like, yep. Okay. So do you have any questions for other two speakers? Because I got one.
No, go ahead, bro.
Zay, my question to you, brother, is how has your career and your career mindedness shifted and changed since you've gone through this, being staff member and apprenticing, as we call it? I mean, I guess I built Ninth Limb at some point, basic web stuff. So how's your development and your career mindedness and, your strategies, your money making, your entrepreneurship, your skills, hustling, those things, how's that shifted since being on staff and also through the AZD camps,
Well, it let me realize that I can actually be an entrepreneur in this. Like, I can actually give service to people instead of like trying to look for like a job and then just try to work my way up over there. But the thing is that, through just being part of IMC Nation, I realized that everybody has a story to tell, and everybody has something to give. So with being an IMC Nation, I realized that I can actually be in control of, how I can actually set up these websites for people. I can actually be in control of actually starting my own company in a sense, and just learning sales in a sense. But really, I don't feel like working for nobody in the future like that. Like, I was thinking of working for Facebook and Google, like 2 years ago, that was my idea. But the thing was that I realized that, my personal views, if they were just like, okay, let's hear a podcast today, I write personal views, they might not, correspond with them too much. And that's one of the things I was kind of fearful of. I'm like, man, what are they going to think about, how I view about relationships or mindset and all that stuff. But, of course, working with IMC Nation, it just gave me that confidence to be like, look, I just got to get good. You know what I'm saying? I got to get good. I got to figure out what people really want. And then in that same sense, I got to give it to them. But just focus on being just so skilled at what I'm doing where, it doesn't really matter what, I'm necessarily, how I think or stuff like that. But in the same sense, it's just going with the camps, of course, of recently, it just helped me just free up my communication, a lot because, growing up, there's a lot of suppression, like, having a family, have this reputation of being very religious and stuff like that. And everybody has, their views on how you're supposed to be growing up. And like AD said, there's a lot of invested interest in me, but of course, being with IMC Nation, I see that if people wanted to work with me, we can actually build something up. Each person, like each person is $1 million company, or each if they have a brand idea, let's focus on growing it rather than just doing one job and then just now I'm gotta hustle for the next job, which is no problem to do as an entrepreneur, But now, of course, be working with IMC Base One, it's like I said, we're growing this thing. It's focused on actually growing rather than just a one-time job. So
yeah, and that's exciting, right? Because you see, there's a future, right? Or there's so much potential, so much ability to create, so much room for creativity. Being objective oriented and having a big vision that's gives you a lot of enthusiasm or gives you like, what is it? Is it part of being a part of something? Because it's like Google is huge. There's a lot of, maybe there's not as much creativity there, probably not. And not aligned with values or whatever, but it's definitely big. So there's room to grow in it. So it's not just like the monetary incentive of like IMC Nation's going to the top. It's going to get big. So I'll make a bunch of money. I think it's, it's something that you could be aligned with, that you could be excited about. And I think that also gives you the selling edge off of all the people in IMC Nation that you would sell your services to. Is I can get excited about your website, because if you hire a web designer outside of IMC, he's not going to be excited about your stuff any more than he's excited about web design. Nobody's excited just about web design, like unless they're like prodigy web designer, and that's like they play the piano like they design web. And but I'm excited about growing brands that I believe in. I believe in anybody IMC Nation. So like, you should definitely hire me. If you're going to hire anybody, you should hire me. Like, that's what I think. I think as long as you're in communication with the person in IMC Nation, like there's like you're licking your lips, like right when that like, so yeah, like if you're in communication with anybody in IMC and they need any web design stuff, they should definitely hire you. You're the guy. So that's great. Zay, do you have any thoughts about the other speakers? If not, I got one.
I'm just definitely just seeing Josiah's work, man. I remember his graphic design work, man. I'm really impressed, because I remember I was doing a little bit of graphic design, just a little bit of it. That's when people were really trying to do their own events back in November last year. But man, like I'm just totally impressed with Josiah's growth, and his passion for actually the graphic design, and I'm doing my best to go out there in Phoenix, and I'm just like, look, or I'm glad I can just go to IMC Nation for these services instead of going outside of it, and it's actually top-notch quality work, and that's I still have to say on that one.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I had a t-shirt idea that I wanted for myself, but then I realized Rick moved to Vegas. He doesn't have his t-shirt stuff anymore, so I don't know who else makes t-shirts in IMC Nation. So I'll just look on Amazon, I guess, for something like that. But yeah, it's great to be able to work with everybody like within, and our business. There's so many things in the world, like growing crops, restaurants, or manufacturing clothes. I mean, there's a lot of working at the bank, being a firefighter, a police officer. I mean, eventually we'll have somebody in all of those occupations somewhere, but we're not going to be able to provide everything for each other. But the things that are related to our business, entrepreneurship, there's a lot of things, but there's only so many things. And there are some things that are like more industry specific, like realtors need their programs that they use, or you know, a fitness trainer needs some equipment or something. But everybody needs a website, everybody needs graphics, everybody needs video editing, YouTube, you know, everybody needs a copywriter, eventually to write emails. You know, everybody needs a salesperson or salespeople that know how to get a person from interested to buying to a client. And then everybody needs character in game outside of all of those things, because you're just doing all of those things as your strategy of the game of life. And, you know, so how you use that for, you know, in society and to be social and to build the life that you want is what we do. It's what AZD teaches. And, you know, like Josiah said, it's a very proud moment, you know, when I remember talking to you about gloving and it's just druggies at the festival. And I don't know if that had any influence, but I was proud to put, you know, that's what I did with guitar in my own way. And it's a thing that is a great thing. Like if you bring a girl home, a new girl or whatever, or even an old girl, and, you know, you're just like, I just want to show you something. And for 5 minutes, you play a favorite song and you do some gloving for her. She's going to be so impressed. It's going to give you all the results that you ever wanted doing gloving at festivals. You know, and you got that skill that's in your back pocket that once a month you can pull out your gloves and just practice a little bit. And, you know, that's dope. Actually, I'm curious, Josiah, if you have a girlfriend, you had a girlfriend in Hawaii, is she coming with you, or are you all still together?
She'll be showing up eventually. Like I'm pretty much making the first move because she's living, because we're not, first of all, we're not living together anymore, which is a blessing.
How long has that been?
It's been for me like a good 4 or 5 months, I'd say, maybe. Ever since June, so about June, July. 3 months.
Yeah,
about 3 months.
That's one of the staples. That's like one of the basic ingredients for, you know, IMC philosophies. You don't live with the woman.
Yeah. So I'll be basically heading out first to Phoenix, and then she'll needs to finish up whatever she needs to finish up, because, you know, she's on a lease at whatever place she's living at. And then we'll be talking about how she'll get here, where she'll be staying, and stuff like that.
Well, just like I told Miracle, you want to be talking about that a lot sooner than whenever her lease is about to be up.
Like we've been talking about it like ever since, even before we moved out to live separately. Like we've been talking about. I've been telling her I will be going to Phoenix and stuff like that. So if there was any kind of,
is she excited about the move? Or is she excited about relocating herself to Phoenix?
Well, at first she was a little afraid, which I mean, like, I'm not surprised. Like any woman would be afraid delving into the unknown, a state she's never been to and whatnot. But little by little, and of course through AZD's teachings, I was able to basically bring that panic or bring that anxiety down and just be like, hey, like, whether you like it or not, this is what I have to do. Like, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to go. Are you with me or are you not? It's really as simple as that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
It's dope. I mean, you'll have a whole tribe in Phoenix. So
Exactly.
that's, you know, 6-7 guys that are right there. You'll be living with them. I mean, it'll be a way better future if she sees herself with you. You're going to find out. You're going to find out if she really sees herself with you.
Yeah.
It's a big move. You know, there's a risk in that. She's not like Miracle leaving grandma, mom, and dad. Like, they're still going to love him. Like, they'll still welcome him back if it fails or something, like, which it won't. But I mean, that's like that unconditional, like, that's my baby boy, you know, no matter how hard they are on him. But, you know, bitch back in Hawaii might be like last second, right before the lease is up, like, meets a guy. She'll meet a guy.
Funny you say that.
When you're in Phoenix, she'll meet some guy on the beach or something. He'll just be some chump. You'll know he's beta. He's more beta than you, and she'll like, but she can control him, and then she won't have to live the life of risk that you keep giving her. She's thinking that you're just going to be out. She's going to see you out gaming with the guys in Phoenix for a few months before she gets there, and she's not going to be able to visit, and she's just going to be emotionally a wreck. Like if you want her to work, I recommend she needs to move there within 4 weeks of you moving there.
4 weeks, so about a good month then.
Or less. Otherwise, you're gonna need to visit. You know, it's gonna be very tough to go more than a month without seeing each other. For her to be loyal. You'll be able to go forever because you're gonna be gaming.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's so funny on what you were saying earlier about like moving back to Hawaii. So a lot of people who like move away from Hawaii, they're moving thinking like, oh, I'm finally leaving this island, this and that. But then they always have a fallback plan, which is moving back to Hawaii if things don't work out, you know. And I just always found that like a little silly, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. When I think about all the places I've moved, I guess I don't know that I entertained a fallback plan. I always knew there was a fallback plan because I'm leaving behind some creations that I can pick up again if I go back. You know, I didn't really like entertain it though as like a really legitimate idea. So I'm gathering that you don't have a fallback plan, that you're going and you're going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on. Cool. Well, we got guests also. If any of the guests in the audience, these are guys that are on like Dragon's Lair, Fuli, Joe Estrada just moved into base 2. And, you know, anybody else, if you have any dialogue back and forth, we got a couple minutes left. You know, as you guys come to Phoenix more, then I'll actually be seeing you more in person. And, you know, the growth, man, it's right there. It's just getting there, making it happen, getting all your ducks in line, staying sharp and disciplined from now until then, you know, being ready to move even beforehand. You can move beforehand. You can just go and get an Airbnb. It's not going to be that much more than whatever you're paying rent now. You know what I mean? All right. No comments. Let's see if there's anything on YouTube. No comments on YouTube. Viewers just watching it. Just watching this, getting to know the audience, but not saying anything. That's cute. All right. Let's see what's on tap. So we have animal magnetism and these trainings. Everybody's got to stream. Got to get your audience on. Got to be reaching out and communicating with your audience and pulling them in. I think about guys like Fu and Gio. I almost put those together and called it Theo. Gio and Fu, all the guys in your audience, all the girls in your audience, everybody, you got to stream, talk about what you're learning, you know, get it out, use your motor neurons. All the guys, Josiah, I know you do some. Prophet, I know you do it. Zay, you know, talking about design and branding, like that would excite guys, excite people. There should be a Black Panthers YouTube, since none of you guys, I feel, are putting out so much content that it's like, I know Master myself, Jordan Amari, said that he was putting out about a YouTube video a week. I was looking and it's not like getting that many views or whatever, but I think but I know he has great content. I know you all have great content. And, you know, when you make content, you can distill that content down using clipping things out of it, highlights, or even just listening to it again. When you write the description, you'll hear certain things that would become great content if you just like synthesize that or distill that and just remake a short video or something. And, you know, at first there may only be like 1 or 2 people that show up to your stream. So what? Then you do it. If nobody shows up to your stream, then you record a video blog. It's easy. So it's a win-win. And then you just do the same process anyway. And getting in communication with the people on your social media and, you know, the outreach, like you can reach out to guys also and girls when you meet them and get them connected with your social media And because you post so freely, they don't post that freely, but you will pull people in like that. And, I see this movement growing through word of mouth in the upcoming future a lot more. With the base projects, we're creating a thing that it's going to shift the culture. If you interact with so many people a year and let it be known that you live in a base with other guys, and all the guys that live in your base are doing the same thing, every year people in your town know more about basing. And as we do that with multiple bases throughout the country, and there's a certain kind of people that we interact with more, it's only going to be a few years before it becomes known as this base movement project. Other men's groups and other groups, they don't have the alliance and the loyalty and the philosophy needed to be able to live together like this. And so we're just proving it. It's kind of like how the girl kind of proves your game, how pretty she is, how compliant she is, how desirable she is, and beautiful she is, elegant, graceful, how intelligent, her sense of humor, sense of loyalty. Like, she is a billboard for your character. And, if you have two, that's why it's like twice as many billboards, twice as much ad. And your base is a billboard for your alliance with men and your ethics and your value as a man to other men. And, and then IMC Nation, you become a billboard for IMC Nation, all the bases. As all the things are. We have music videos with billionaires. We have, private parties in places that you can't get private parties. We have a whole economy within IMC Nation that's growing, but we're not looking to grow it for growth's sake, because then we would just let anybody in. You go through the filters and you go through the rings of fire and you go through the tests. And there's not like pre-written tests where you're going to sit down and take a test. We haven't constructed these tests. One of the tests is showing up to camp. You got to show up to camp because you barely know anything if you're just showing up to Dragon's Lair, let alone how long you've been studying Dragon's Lair. The evolution here is real, and showing up to the next level, you'll see levels to this thing, and it looks easy. It looks like a walk in the park when you're looking at it from the outside, or when you're just getting started on the path. And when you start walking the path, you see it's much more arduous and long than you thought, but it is the path. And when you see more brothers ahead of you and behind you, and it gives you context, and you see the mountaintop, and then you just got to value it yourself. The only reason you would leave would be you get butthurt about something. You get butthurt about something, and then you justify and rationalize that other thing is more important, or I'm chasing that, or I'm focused on this or that. And it's like, why did you all of a sudden change from why you came in? And it's like, no, you got butthurt about something, and you didn't want to face up to the responsibility to change your character about that something. You had some cause in it, and instead of changing, you'll just change the situation by leaving. That's the only reason people leave. But if you don't leave, then you got to come up with us, because that's the rules that we make. Maybe that's why we're not Cobra Tate with fucking 4.5 million followers, but we're also not a cheese ball that sounds like he has a bunch of cheese puffs in his cheeks while he's talking, and it's like all squirmy and, always checking in on his girlfriend or whatever. So, Josiah, did you raise your hand?
Yes, I just wanted to say something about being an apprentice.
Sure.
So with everything you said about like us streaming or recording video blogs, like ever since starting to become an apprentice and doing my service as a graphic designer and whatnot, and captioning YouTube videos and descriptions and whatnot, like it's come to a point where I feel like if none of us took what we've learned, and I've learned a lot by doing this kind of stuff, if we didn't take what we learned and applied it for ourselves by recording video blogs or live streaming, it would almost feel like a disservice. Like you're learning all this like basically for nothing. So when you talk about live streaming and recording video blogs, like that's definitely inside the works. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes your intentions be known. It announces your role, and it gives you it like pings. So like you ping your message off of other people, and it makes it more of a reality, and you get invested in what it is. And so the universe rewards that by other people cooperating in their ways. And it seems like you're just getting the message out, but these are some basic principles from like L. Ron Hubbard. And making your role known is one of those basic ethical things to make it successful. You got to make your role known if you want to be successful. Don't be shy about it. That's like one of the IMC pickup coaches. He's shy about it. He's so good, but he's shy about it. He doesn't want to own it publicly for whatever his reasons. I get some reasons, but those are my reasons why I wouldn't want to own it. But that's his role. That's not my role. You know? So yeah, own your role, own yourself. Okay. Thank you guys for attending, and I hope it was good for you and everybody that attended. Thanks for attending live and put into practice everything we talked about. And of course, sign up for Animal Magnetism at imcbase1.com. That's the training that starts in 1 week. Okay. I'll see you all next time here on Enlightened Masculinity. Os.